What kind of baby items do you really need as a new mother? Hey everyone, it's Holly. If you are new here, welcome. I do a lot of cooking, travel, homeschooling, and motherhood videos. And today I want to talk about baby gear, baby stuff, baby essentials. I don't know. There's so many different names for it. Recently, we have been cleaning out our basement crawl space. This crawl space goes on forever. And let's just say I have not gotten rid of all my baby stuff because when you can keep storing things, you tend to just keep shoving things in the back. You don't think about it. But then there comes a time when you do think about it and you realize we've got to clean out that crawl space. Now is the time we are finally getting around to doing it. And while I have been cleaning out all our old baby gear, I started thinking about how back in the day, before I had my first baby, I had no clue what I really needed. And I remember going to Babies R Us. I don't know if you remember Babies R Us out there, but Babies R Us used to be a real big store chain. I went into Babies R Us to do my baby registration for the first time. Honestly, had no idea what I needed. I mean, I had some things in mind, of course. I had the important things, car seat, stroller, a crib, those things. But there were so many other things. It's hard to explain it now because you can't go into a Babies R Us to know what I'm talking about. But I know that there are other baby stores out there that I guess took over that chain. And you walk into a store like that and it is just very overwhelming. You're wondering, with expecting a baby, what do I really need? It's great to have everything, right? But really, what do I need? What are the things that are going to be the most helpful? I decided that I wanted to share what I found to be the most helpful and what I found to be really a waste. Something that sounded really cool to get, but in the end, either we didn't use it or it just really wasn't that great having. And honestly, if money is tight, if you are going to invest in the most important things, then I just want to honestly share some things that, somebody might talk you into because they think it's a cool idea. But in the end, it's really not worth putting on your baby registry when you can be putting that towards something more important. And I would just say it's better off having everybody give you diapers than ending up with a whole bunch of stuff that you really might not even use. And I realize that all moms are different, and definitely some moms might value the things that I didn't value, but I at least want to share what kind of things you may want to consider not getting because it's not going to be that important. This is going to be a two-part video. Part one, I'm going to share all the things that I really wish we wouldn't have gotten. I wish we wouldn't have wasted our money on, wasted an item on our registry that somebody else bought us when they could have bought us something that we would have used, and hopefully help you decide when you are registering or shopping around for your first new little one. Let's get into it right now as I share with you all the things I wish I would not have gotten when I was expecting my first baby. Item number one is a baby wipe warmer. Now, I had not even heard of a wipe warmer, but when I was at Babies R Us registering, the lady who was helping us out, who worked there, told us how important it was to have a wipe warmer because when you're changing an infant in the middle of the night, you don't want to wipe them with a cold wipey. Well, I learned that it didn't make a difference whether or not it was a warm wipey or cold wipey. Plus, the wipe warmer container itself was just such a pain. The lid was always breaking. It was expensive to change out the little sponges that keep the wipes moist. And I just got tired of always keeping up and replacing it in everything. So definitely not worth having. Next is Velcro bibs. Now, I'm not saying bibs aren't a great thing to have for babies, newborns. No, you definitely want bibs, but stay away from the Velcro bibs because the Velcro does not stay on strong enough. Even if it has a pretty wide Velcro pad, it will come off. As soon as your baby starts moving their precious little hands, they will yank off that bib all the time. And as easy as it is to put on this bib, it's just as easy to take it off. While I do recommend bibs, go with the bibs that have a snap. The snaps are going to stay in place and your babies are not going to be able to rip them off. They're much more secure. So definitely, if you are going to register for bibs, get the ones with the snaps and stay away from the ones with Velcro. They will drive you nuts, or at least they drove me nuts. Then there is the mittens to prevent the babies from scratching their face. And it is true. Those little infant fingers with their tiny little nails can easily scratch their face without even knowing it. They will just run their fingers across their face and you don't want little scratches on your baby. But the mittens are pointless. They will fall right off. They never stay on correctly. I have this pack here that I never even opened because the ones that I did use, I did not like, and so I didn't need any more. If you want to keep your baby from scratching up their little face, then I recommend just using a little baby sock that goes up high, that you could pull up to their elbows maybe, or really the best thing to prevent the scratching is if you have your baby in those zip-up onesies that have the cuffs that can fold over. I found those work so much better than these mittens. Our baby monitor was definitely a waste for us. Now, a lot of people have said they regret getting the video monitors. They said that it wasn't worth it at all to have that. Honestly, I never saw the point in having a regular monitor. Now, I understand if you have a really big house, your baby's upstairs, you want to be able to hear your baby during the day or even at nighttime. But in all honesty, we always heard our babies cry at nighttime and even during the day. So I definitely did not find any use for this baby monitor. We started using it in the beginning, but quickly turned it off, boxed it up, and never used it for any of my 4 babies. Bottles. Now I know you might be thinking, how could I not get bottles? Well, the fact is I breastfed all my babies and I did not need any bottles. Now I understand this is definitely a preference thing. If you don't plan to nurse your baby full time, then you will need bottles. But if you do plan to nurse your baby as much as you can, then if you're going to get bottles, just get like 2. Really, that's all you need. I was talked into a whole bunch of bottles in the beginning when I was registering, the top of the line bottles, and there was a lot of bottles that never even came out of the packaging. Many years later, I found that I had all these brand new bottles that I never used. Crib bumpers are so cute. I am telling you, when we were first setting up our nursery, I was so excited about our nursery decor and I love the crib bumper look. But the fact of the matter is, you really don't use them very much. When your babies are newborn, they're not even safe to use. You're basically told to not put them up until your baby is past a certain point. But what I found is once our babies were past that point, they were always destroying the baby bumpers. They were pulling them down, taking them off. I found that it was a useless baby item. As cute as they are and as sweet as they can look in a nursery, I just found it to be a pointless item to buy. And these days they say half the baby bumpers aren't even safe at all. And while I am talking about nursery decor, while this is something we never did purchase, this is something I tell people to never get to start with, and that is a changing table. Yes, they could be so cute in your nursery. Yes, they could be very functional. But the fact is, it is a piece of furniture that you will only use when your baby is in diapers. I mean, I understand if you have multiple babies, you can reuse it a lot. Definitely a preference, but I find that it's not worth getting. Instead, buy a dresser that is changing table height and mount a changing pad to it and use that as your changing table. We did that for years and we are still using that dresser today. Well, that is it for all the baby items that I wish I would not have either bought or registered for. They were all items that were completely useless to me. I do hope that this was helpful. I understand that I might get a lot of negative feedback as some people do like a lot of these items. I totally get it. This is all my preference and this is stuff that I just did not need. Anyhow, I hope you will stay tuned for my part 2 video where I talk about all the baby items that I loved having. Baby items that I found very useful, and I think every new mom should get. Again, stay tuned for that video. It'll be coming up very soon. If you enjoyed this video or got anything out of it, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching, and may you have a beautiful day.